Well, we are live, pals, and welcome to a very special edition of Count It Out with Mike and Tyler. My name is Tyler, and not only am I joined by the one and only Mojito Mike tonight, but I am joined by a gentleman where if you looked up the term good brother in the dictionary, you are going to see this man's picture. You've seen him on MTV, you've seen him on the WWE, you've recently seen him on Talkin' Shopomania. Please welcome to the show the one and only rapid delivery Rory Fox. Rory, how are you, brother?
Hey, I'm doing great. What's up, guys?
We appreciate you taking the time to come and shoot the shit with us here, man. I'm gonna throw it over to Mike. He's gonna start us off with the first question.
Rory, we're going to go right back to the beginning, man. My very first question, I need to know how does anybody get hook up with Les Thatcher to get trained in the beginning? Because that's you're not getting trained by a nobody here. Les fucking Thatcher. How does this happen?
Well, back in the day, in Pro Wrestling Illustrated, they had like way back in the pages of Pro Wrestling Illustrated, there was this booklet by was it by Larry Sharp or by Paul Bearer when he was called Percy Pringle?
Yeah.
The Secrets of the Secrets of Pro Wrestling, and then there was a list of professional wrestling schools, and like the back page there was Killer Kowalski's, the Monster Factory, and Les Thatcher's. And I did my research. Well, pretty much I called different places, and Kowalski, I kept getting a voicemail. ECW wouldn't return my calls, but Les Thatcher ended up talking to me for like 20 minutes on the phone. I thought, damn, this is great. It's like this professional wrestler that's been in the business all the years is actually talking to me on the phone.
Yeah. What year are we talking here, Rory?
It was... Yeah, it was 1998, early 98, and let me think.
So was there a lot of travel involved? Like, did you have to did you have to go a far ways to hook up with Les? Or
yeah, how it ended up with Les was Les was so personable, but also he's like 5'8", and I did my research on Les. He had a 20-year professional wrestling career, and then he had about 10 years in broadcasting. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm 5'9", Les is 5'8", and he had this long career. So obviously, he's got to be very good at his job to have that longevity.
Yeah.
So I had already saved up money working in a factory for 2 years because I knew I wanted to go somewhere. It's like, I would have that regret the rest of my life if I did not find out if I could do this professional wrestling or not. Because I didn't want to be one of those people watching on Monday nights forever and never finding out. So when I knew I was going to go out to Les's school, I picked up everything from Watkins, Iowa, population of 100, and I moved out to Cincinnati, Ohio.
Wow.
Go Bengals, right?
Yeah.
So tell us some of the early days. What was it like training? Like did Les whoop your ass a little bit in there? Did he bring you up the old school way? Like, do you hear all the stories? Tell us some training stories, Roy.
Oh God, there's if you've heard of that basic move, it's a leg sweep where you leg sweep your opponent. You don't see it in wrestling anymore, but if you see one of my matches, you might see it. But Bob Backlund used to do the leg sweep. Well, we had this drill in training, and there'd be about 20 to 25 students there. So you're taking about 25 consecutive leg sweeps, getting up, turning to your right, and then taking another one. Yeah, those were always pretty rough. We had a hip toss, head to toe kickoff, duck the clothesline, arm drag. We had drills like that. A lot of Hindu squats, a lot of push-ups. But Les was a great trainer. But at the same time, it wasn't like where he's trying to break your leg to make you quit. I mean, he would kick your ass with cardio, but he was also a very supportive person. If he saw that you had the hunger and you at least had a basic foundation of a physique, that you were serious about it, Les would give you all the time in the world. And it was so funny. Sometimes there was, oh my God, there was some goofs that had no business in there. It should be like a fantasy camp. I mean, he would even give them a shot. It wasn't like he would immediately run them off. I mean, I understand he's trying to make a living, and we don't want to turn anyone away. We want to make some money, but some guys were so brutal, and I'm just thinking, how long are these guys going to stick around? And he would give everyone a chance. It wasn't like beat the shit out of this guy and run him out of here. Les wasn't that kind of guy.
But it sounds to me like he was pretty hands-on. We talked to Justin Credible just a couple weeks ago, and he was talking about how he went to train in Calgary. He was expecting to train under Bruce Hart, and he says he feels like he saw Bruce once every couple months. And other guys, more like Lance Storm and such, did the actual training. That doesn't sound like that happened to you. Was Les more hands-on with you?
Oh, Les was there every day at practice, and he had already trained like 5 guys, so they were more the hands-on in the ring doing moves to us, but Les would step in, and this is how you do a lockup. This is how you grab the arm. In the corners, that's another thing, is on the MTV thing. Bam, punch in the gut on 1, forearm on 2, kick on 3, you're back on 4, He got in there on the little nuances. He'd always say, "Hold my glasses," and then he'd get in there. And Les was very hands-on. And I've heard stories about the Harts. It's like it's in Chris Jericho's book. It's called The Hart Family Wrestling, but none of the Harts were around. If they were, it was like for maybe one day.
Yeah, the Harts have a pretty, we're a couple Canadian boys, right, Rory? So the Harts are the royalty in our country, but Bruce and a couple of the other ones, they definitely like to push the boundaries of the Hart name for sure.
Oh, one thing, speaking of Justin Credible, I ran into him at Talking Shop at Mania 2.
That's right.
And I got to tell him a story because I was on the Brian Pillman Memorial in 2000.
Okay.
And this, Justin's not doing the best now, but in 2000, he was the fucking. Can I swear or no?
100%.
He was the fucking ECW World Heavyweight Champion, and I just went over to him. I'm on MTV, but still, though, every guy, I'm like, wow, Justin, it's nice to meet you. I'm Rory Fox. I'm on the show tonight. He goes, you don't have to tell me who you are. I know who you are. All the boys know who you are. We've all seen the MTV thing. How you doing, Rory? I was like, why? This is ECW World Champions Day, and he knows who I am. Like, whoa.
Yeah. Well, in the year 2000, too, you mentioned he's the champion. They mentioned the After magazines. Yeah, he's number 6 in the world.
I got to tell him at a Talking Shop, and he said, God bless him, he says, oh, yeah, I remember that. I don't know if he did, but he told me he did.
Well, so you mentioned it a couple times, Rory. Got to talk about MTV. How did that come about with you? How did you get selected for it? And how different did your life become after? Because back in the late 90s, MTV was the biggest thing on the planet.
Yeah. Well, you know how it goes in professional wrestling over the years. One guy fucks up, another guy gets an opportunity. MTV came to the school. They interviewed everyone. But the story was, it was this kid from Chicago. They wanted him to be trained from scratch. And the end of the story was him just doing a battle royal. It wasn't him to have a match or anything like that. It was just, let's give him just enough training just so he can say he did a battle royal and fulfilled one of his dreams. Well, this rich boy, spoiled brat from Chicago was a damn crackhead. And he back in the day, there wasn't a cell phone to do your own little videos. They had to give you a camera. MTV loaned this kid a camera to do his daily thoughts about what's going on. He pawned it off to go buy crack. His mom had to buy it back. One time, see, I'm from Iowa. I'm so naive. And he goes, hey, Rory, I have to go down to the, I guess I was Steve then. I wasn't even Rory. Hey, Steve, in Cincinnati, Fifth Third Bank is the main bank. But we had one 5 minutes from the hotel he was staying at. Hey, Steve, I got to go down to the Fifth Third Bank in downtown Cincinnati. I have to go down to the downtown branch. I go, but there's an ATM 5 minutes away here. No, man. I've got to go to the downtown one. And, me being the hayseed from Iowa, okay. And we get down there, and it's almost 6 o'clock. And I'm sitting in my car. He goes, I'll be right back. And he walks to the bank. Meanwhile, 30 minutes go by. I'm like, where the hell is this dude? I got to get back to training tonight. And I finally, I'm like, damn it, I got to go find him. I walk up to the Fifth Third Bank. They were closed at 5 o'clock. Yeah. So he worked me into a trip downtown to go get crack. and I didn't have a cell phone yet, so I had to get on a payphone. And if you remember on the MTV show, one of the wrestlers was GQ Masters. He had like the greatest mullet in wrestling at that time. GQ Masters the third. And I go, his name's Brady. I go, Brady, what should I do? I don't know where this guy went. He's not coming back. It's getting dark. I'm in here in downtown. And this is downtown Cincinnati when it was like the movie New Jack City. And I'm white boy, 100 people, that doesn't know anything about the hood. And he's like, hey, brother, you better get back in your car and you get up to the school, man. He's from Kentucky, say that accent. Like, okay. And we didn't see the guy for like 3 days. Then he finally showed back up at training. And on other days of training, because I was his babysitter, I had to go pick him up at the hotel and bring him. And it'd be 5 o'clock at night. We got training at 6. And I'm opening the blinds and everything. He's sleeping at 5 p.m.
Jeez.
Ironically, that young crackhead from Chicago grew up to be CM Punk.
Not quite.
So after the show aired, Rory, how did your life change? Did you just go from being, a guy doing his training to getting a lot of rub all over the place, or?
Yeah, I was getting quite a few bookings based off of the MTV thing. It was like a booking package, like myself, Cody Hawk, Ray Steele, and some other guys from HWA would be like, come see Rory Fox and the stars of HWA. And we'd be like a 4-person package. Like we would go from Cincinnati to Pittsburgh or to Detroit or just some other areas based off just from the MTV thing. Would be like a package deal. So that definitely opened doors. It made a lot of wrestlers know me right away in the locker room. I mean, it gave me respect too, but it's like, okay, the only problem with it is I'm fresh off MTV, but you got to understand, I've had 6 months of training. I mean, now that's like, shit, you're a veteran now, but no, back 6 months. I mean, back then you might have had to train for 8 months before they let you out. And like, I may be on TV, but I'm green as grass and I need to be led. But at the same time, on some of these shows, I was wrestling guys that have been in the business 5 years that were terrible. And it was called upon me to call the match. So
Jeez.
It was pretty crazy. But that, thankfully for Les Thatcher's training, even fresh out of wrestling school, I could go out there and call a basic match if I needed to, if I wasn't wrestling someone that knew what he was doing.
How long after MTV did you start doing work for New York and with Vince?
And that's the funny thing. Les was a great trainer. He gave me the fundamentals and everything that I have for life. But he was not about helping guys get WWE deals. I'm not sure if it was like, hey, I can't send you to WWE. I need all you guys to work all my house shows, He, like nowadays, it's like, I want to get you out the door as quick as you can to WWE, and I can say, I trained this guy. Yeah. It wasn't like that then. It was like, I need Rory Fox on my HWA show. I want 500 people there. I don't want 100 people there. If I send all my good hands away, what do I have on my wrestling shows? But he may or may not say that's true. Also, it was he would not send you until he believed you were ready, because he looked at it like, okay, I'm not going to try to get these guys signed as quick as I can. It's like, they have to be ready because it's my reputation. It's like, if Rory goes up to WWE and does a dark match before Raw and it's the fucking shits, that falls back on Les. And some of us, he didn't have enough confidence in to like take that chance, because he had that belief. You have to be ready to make that first impression, because it is that way with WWE. If you're a smaller guy and you shit the bed the first time you're there, first impression's everything. Now, if you're 6'5", they're going to say, okay, you're the shits right now. Come back in 3 or 4 months and hopefully you've improved. So yeah, I understand it, but at the same time, it also frustrated me. He was not willing to put his reputation on the line for me. But here's what happened, though. I'm sorry. I'm trying to let you guys get into, but it's like,
you go, man. You go.
Go for it.
I was in HWA. I made my debut in May of '99, And around 2001, I was just so broke, I couldn't afford to live in Cincinnati anymore. And at this point, I still had not had any dark matches. I wasn't one of the guys that Les was booking to get the, as the extra talent. At that time, it was Cody Hawk, Ray Steele, Matt Stryker, Chip Fairway. Chip Fairway was really good too. He had a golfer gimmick. But here was the thing. Within 2 months of me moving back home to Iowa, I had already sent in my back then. You had to send in a VHS tape, a resume, and your 8x10.
Yeah.
I sent it off, and within 1 month, and this is on my own back in Iowa, nothing to do with Les or HWA. I sent my footage in. I got a call from Kevin Kelly, and back when people actually used their voicemail on their phones, house phones, I checked the voicemail, and I got a call. It's fucking Kevin Kelly. He's like, hello, Rory, how are you? This is Kevin Kelly from the World Wrestling Federation. Give me a call back. We'd like to bring you in to the Minneapolis and Grand Forks dates. Give me a call back, and da-da-da. I was jumping up and down. I was so goddamn happy. I was like, holy shit. I did this on my own. I got booked for extra talent work, and I didn't get any help from Les. And that was amazing.
Was Kevin working talent relations at the time? Why was it Kevin reaching out to you?
Kevin Kelly was in charge of talent relations at that time. Yeah.
So one of your matches that you had that I was doing my research on here is you had a match with Haku on, I believe it was Jack or Metal, whatever they call it, and they put you over on commentary. They were talking about your MTV. Like, you never see stuff like that, man. How did that feel for you, getting put over by Michael Hayes and Kevin Kelly on commentary? That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I had no idea until I actually saw it. But that was the show that Kevin Kelly had booked me for, based off me sending in the my resume and the VHS tape and all that. And damn cats!
I got two of them. I got two of them here, Rory. I know you're paying.
I got the hard house here. I got 3 black cats. But
I got 2 of them running around the back too.
But that day in Minneapolis, I'm around ringside just doing the wrestling. It's like I've never been there before, and I'm just scared shitless. But I get in the ring to try to do a little wrestling around, and I saw I saw Tony Gurria. He was the guy booking the matches at that time.
Yeah.
And I saw Tony Gurria, and back then they still had this big old chalkboard around ringside with the marker, and they would write the matches right there by ringside. And I saw where Tony was, and I saw he had the marker, so I start standing there doing my little Hindu squats and da-da-da-da-da. And Tony Gurria comes up to me and goes, "Yeah, you don't mind getting beat up, do you?" "No, sir." So next thing you know, I'm booked against Haku. I'm wrestling Haku on Metal right before Monday Night Raw goes out live on the air. This is Minneapolis, Minnesota. This is sold out, 20,000. The dark match of the night was Brock Lesnar and Shelton Benjamin with Jesse the Body Ventura in their corner.
Oh,
that was that night.
I remember that.
Yeah, and I'm wrestling Haku. I saw him in 1986, and I'm 10 years old at the 5 Season Center in Cedar Rapids, Iowa.
No kidding. Full circle moment.
You obviously know Haku's reputation at this time, right? So,
yes.
So are you scared getting into the ring with a guy as legit tough as Haku?
No, I wasn't scared because he was so nice to me backstage, and he asked what I could do. And this is in syndication. This isn't Monday Night Raw where It's a 2-minute squash. It's about a 6-minute match. I'm allowed to do a couple offensive moves. So it was probably my favorite match ever. It was the closest thing I ever got to a dark match. But and the funny,
didn't he?
Yeah, he took the missile drop kick from me.
That's crazy.
And I tried talking him into, okay, I'm going to hit you with the flying shoulder tackle, then I'll come up to the top rope for the missile drop kick. And Gurria comes in there. How about you get on the second rope and hit him with the shoulder, and then go to the top for the missile? I'm like, okay. but Haku was so nice to me. I wasn't scared to ask if I could do things. That's why he's such a wonderful guy. But this is the thing. Though. I don't know if you guys know this or not. Me and Haku are backstage sitting on them big square boxes things. We're going over our match. In comes Eddie Guerrero.
Hey.
Eddie Guerrero's pulling his luggage in along, and he's kind of like all fucked up. And they're like, "Hey, Eddie, how you doing?" He's like, "Eh." And he pulls it in. Haku's like, "Okay, brother." I do the backdrop, and Eddie's like, "Eh." And then I give you the backdrop, and yeah, Eddie went off in a room. I guess Benoit pulled him aside and put him in a room, and that was the night Eddie Guerrero got fired.
Holy! Welcome to the WWE.
I was there the night Eddie got fired, and I saw him walk into the building with his luggage. Me and Haku were going over our match.
Oh,
What's the vibes like back after that? Because you finished your match, and I'm assuming you stuck around for the whole night, right?
Yeah.
What's the vibes like going on? Is that the boys trying to help Eddie out? Are they trying to cover for him?
No. I didn't know anything else about Eddie other than seeing him walk in, kind of staggering with his luggage, and then he just went off in a dressing room. But Haku stopped what he was doing and looked over at Eddie for like a few seconds, and then went back to me and our match, and that was it. And I didn't see Eddie the rest of the night, and I didn't know anything else about Eddie that night until I read online the next day that he was fired.
No kidding. Wow. In your match with Haku, they were plugging their Tough Enough show. How much do you think they stole from MTV with the idea of Tough Enough?
Yeah, how crazy is that? If you go back, they actually said who's going to be the next Rory Fox in the making on MTV's Tough Enough. And it's like, they didn't even sign me. It's like they mentioned me like that, but I didn't get a contract. It was crazy.
I tell you, Rory, I think you got your next book, and after you get done whooping Matt Cordona's ass, I think you and Maven talking Shop-A-Mania 4, the battle of the MTV superstars.
Oh, yes. I need to have a match with Maven, and I'm going to stick around long enough when The Miz gets released. I'm getting his ass in the ring. That's the match I want. I want The Miz.
Oh, that's amazing.
He'll say he probably don't know who the fuck I am, but he gets on the indies, he'll know who Rory Fox is.
He'll get smartened up real quick, eh, Rory?
That's right.
Speaking of guys you've worked with, both Tyler and I are very interested to hear your thoughts on a couple guys here. You once worked a match with Mike Lockwood, Crash Holly, with Ricky Steamboat in as the special guest referee. We'd love to hear about the match itself, but I want to know about both guys. So let's start with Mike. I grew up a big Crash Holly fan. I always really liked Mike's work. Can you tell us what it was like? Did you know him at all?
No, I only met him that day at the HWA show, but I will tell you, I just realized again how great Crash was. I was watching on WWE Network, the tribute to Pat Patterson. Of course, I got to just watch that Pat Patterson, Gerald Briscoe hardcore drag match, whatever. They're sitting there beating each other up. Crash Holly comes in, and hits him with the weapon and wins the match. And God damn, Crash looked great in that match. Yeah. He looked jacked. He looked great. I only met him that day, and he was super cool, but it was so weird, though. It's like I had just, during the day, just did a whole seminar with Ricky Steamboat. And Ricky Steamboat had said, when you tease the hot comeback with the old false tag deal, I don't want the baby faces touching the heels at all. I want the referee to get in the middle to where the baby face does not touch the heels. So when he does eventually get that hot tag, the crowd explodes. And we're going over the match, and Crash Holly talks about, okay, well, we're going to do the false tag there, and I'm going to come in and start hitting on the heels. And I had to tell Crash Holly, it's like, but Ricky Steamboat just told us that the baby face isn't supposed to touch the heels in the hot tag. He's like, really? Oh, okay. And then he listened, and I was like, I can't believe I even said that. I should have just shut up and went along with it. But I didn't know any better. I was just an idiot.
I'm glad he was receptive to he easily could have been time, right?
Yeah, he could have told me to shut the fuck up.
Right.
But I think it's because Ricky Steamboat was there, and he's not even going to say it to Ricky Steamboat.
No, absolutely not. Were you aware that was Crash's last match, Roy, before his passing?
Yeah, I found out about that. Yeah, at the time, Crash, he didn't quite look like he used to, but he still, though, I mean, he didn't seem like a guy that was going to die next week. He was friends with Shark Boy, and I think that's how the booking came about. Shark Boy talked to Les, and then Les brought him in.
Well, yeah, the match still holds up today. I watched it the other day, so head over to YouTube and check it out. It's
Oh,
on
God, I
there.
haven't watched that in a long time.
We'll probably put that right up on our Facebook page.
Yeah, we will. We're going to put that up and promote that a little
Well,
bit.
I tell you what, then, if you guys do that, I'll send you guys the picture I took with Crash.
Oh, great.
Oh,
I'd love to see that, Roy. We'll put that up too. So while we're talking about names, then I know a guy that you had a lot of influence on is Carl Anderson. What are some of your early memories of a very young Carl Anderson, Rory?
Oh my God! I remember a pretty boy Carl Anderson with a good head of hair on him and a nice goatee and a good tan and real bright tight fitting shirts that he'd wear to the clubs and oh my God, he was so funny. He had such a sense of humor back then. Like he one of his daytime jobs when he was wrestling was he would work with special needs kids at one of those facilities. And one of the guys there, he was in developmental too at one time. He's one of our HWA guys, Chet the Jet. And Carl would do this every now and then. He would call us, and he would leave a voicemail for us when it was Chet's birthday. He would get some of the guys there. He would take care of. These are adult special needs people. They'd be, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Chet. So
oh shit. Oh.
but goddamn, Chet was a pretty boy superstar for that NWF. They were the rival to HWA, and eventually we did these super card matches, HWA versus NWF, and that son of a bitch, they really loved him. He really got over at that NWF. It's like you knew he had talent, but if he would not have made the decision to go to California and try out with New Japan there, it could be a whole different story today. But yeah, he was always a blast. I mean, he was always a fun-loving guy. This was our crew on Thursday nights in the clubs in Cincinnati. Myself, Chet the Jet, Carl Anderson, Pepper Parks, who is now the Blade and the Butcher and the Blade in AEW, and we're all juiced up. We've got 5 guys in the muscle shirts going to this club on Thursday nights in Cincinnati, and we'd be dancing in our big group, and all the chicks would want to come dance with us, and then we end up going to Steak and Shake till about 3 a.m, and then if we had a good night, we'd bring some of the ladies back to the old North Street apartments too. And that was our thing, like every Thursday night. And we do some pre-gaming at the apartment before we got to the club. And oh God.
Is it? Can you confirm or deny that you are the reason that Anderson locked down his wife? Is that story? Is that true? That on Talking Shop you guys talked about?
Yeah, that's the great thing now. Whenever I see Chad at these events too, he has to tell his friends the story. So yeah, that is a true story. Carl Anderson was about to break up with his girlfriend, and I was like, Chad, man, I saw your girlfriend out. She came into O'Charlie's where I was a waiter at, and I was like, damn, she's looking good. And then Chad was like, really? Oh, damn, I got to give her a call. Next thing you know, they're married, they got 4 kids and all this stuff, and that's what I joke with Carl on Talking Shop. I go, and those kids, they better thank old Uncle Rory because they wouldn't be here if it weren't for Rory.
So Roy, I wanna move over in a minute to the big the big ECW match that you and Ryder had. But before that, do you have any good Vince McMahon stories? Any interaction with Vince that you could talk about?
Oh, I have a couple. Kemper Arena, I had to wrestle Heidenreich on SmackDown, and who was my producer that time? Okay, no, Dusty Rhodes was. No, Dusty was the Umaga match. Ted DiBiase was a producer for that match, and I get in the ring with Ted, and I get in the ring with Heidenreich, and Vince goes, "Yes, where is the extra?" And I go, "Hello, I'm Rory." "Hi, I'm Vince." Thank God, no shit. But yeah, that was it. That always popped me when I went over to introduce stuff. I said, Hello, I'm Rory. Hello, I'm Vince.
No shit.
The fact that maybe you don't know who this guy is, right?
Yeah. And the other Vince story is I was so bummed out. I knew the school teacher, Matt Stryker, from the ECWA tournament. I did the Super 8 tournament in 2005 or 2006, one or the other, but I made that connection to him there, and I also met Loki there. So that was a good connection. I knew
right, Roy?
ECWA, no, Super 8 tournament.
Oh, Super 8 tournament, sorry.
Maryland?
Yeah, sorry, I mixed up my tournaments there.
Yeah. But anyway, I saw Matt Stryker there. I'm like, he's got a match on Sunday Night Heat. I'm like, yes, I'm going to get a 6-minute match with Stryker, and we're equal size, so I'm gonna finally can showcase what I can do. And then I got the pat on the shoulder. It was already written on the board by Sergeant Slaughter. I got the pat on the shoulder. He's got Umaga. Fucking Finley. Finley changed my match, so I got a 2-minute squash on Raw with Umaga. And I was freaking jacked. My traps were up to my ears. I was like, I could have been like, you had Hardcore Holly and Crouch Holly. I could have been little Brock Lesnar's brother. I could have been little Brock Lesnar or something if I would have buzzed my hair up because we look so similar. And I did the 2-minute squash match on Raw against Umaga, and I go through the curtain. Not here. Great job, Rory. I was like, wow, fucking Vince McMahon's telling me great job, Rory. Like, okay, cool, I got a job. No, I just got a great job, Rory, from Vince.
So let's move in, Rory. The big famous match. It's ECW. It's you and Zack Ryder. Walk us through what happened. Your memories of the match and just kind of the whole incident in itself.
There really wasn't that much to it. It was Zack Ryder. He watched him on MTV. Rapid Delivery, Rory Fox. He's a big fan. It's like, so apparently Zack Ryder was a big fan of mine from the MTV thing. That was one of the reasons he got into pro wrestling, is he saw the True Life, I Want to Be a Pro Wrestler. And he's real cool to me. But that doesn't mean I'm going to get a bunch of offense in this match. This is like his second match on TV, so he has to establish his character. And in WWE, establishing that character means a 2-minute squash match. I mean, you're lucky to even get your name mentioned. I think that was when they still said your name and they actually had the graphic on the screen. So
yeah,
we went over a match. I knew I was going to do a couple strikes and maybe a roll up, and he was going to beg off at one point and pull me by my trunks into the corner. But I guess he got so excited. He's trying to get his persona over. And I gave him a couple forearm strikes, and really, to get to where we needed to be, I needed to give him a couple more. But in his mind, he's already like, okay, I can only allow the local talent 2 forearms. But guess what, buddy? We're in the middle of the ring. How are you going to pull my trunks and have me eat the turnbuckle from the middle of the fucking ring?
Fuck.
So I drove him back a little bit. And anytime in professional wrestling, you're always way closer to the corner if you're going to do that beg off, or they call it Tully Blanchard spot, beg off, pull the trunks, you eat the buckle. I wasn't anywhere close to the buckle, so he had to overcompensate, and he pulled on my trunk so hard, it's like he took a back bump, pulling so hard that my trunks ripped, and then I somehow managed to bump the buckle, and he tries to blame it on my shitty trunks. And it's like, I've done that spot like 10 times in those trunks, and I never had a problem. It's the illusion that you're pulling the trunks. You don't legitimately pull the trunks as hard as you can. That's why I thought it was a rib. Like he says now, it's like, no, JBL didn't tell me to pull your trunks as a rib. It's like, I've never had my trunks pulled that hard in my life. So yeah, I thought it was a rib. But here's the thing. He's a WWE talent. So he can't be in the wrong. It has to be the idiot local talent, even though I had 10 more years of experience on him. Oh, God forbid, it can't be a WWE talent's fault. And that's one of my issues with him, is he just blames it on my trunks and being unprofessional that I never wore underwear. Guess what, motherfucker? My whole 10-year career, I never wore anything under my trunks.
So what are you thinking in the ring now? Like you take the buckle bump and your tights are exploded. You're out there. Like, what's running through your mind?
I'm just thinking, like the video said, I'm going, oh my God. And I'm freaking out in my mind. It's like they're not going to be able to use this footage. So I'm covering up the best as I can. I'm covering my balls, and I still had to take his finish yet. And
oh shit! So
and then I find out all these years later from Carl Anderson, Triple H said, "Shit, if I was Rory, I just would have owned up to it. I would have got up and just started running around the ring naked." Yeah, that's easy for Triple H to say.
Yeah, pretty easy for Triple H to say. No kidding. So what happens when you walk backstage? Is anyone there? Is anyone saying anything to you? Like,
it was such a weird moment. I think there was people still at the tables, but in my mind, I felt like I was the only person right at the gorilla position there. It's like the Wild West with the tumbling weeds, and you're the only cowboy around. And I walked backstage. It was just silence. I thought Vince would be upset that, you dumb motherfucker, you just ruined our footage. We can't use this footage. But it was on tape delay, so they had an hour to edit it. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I just waste this precious airtime. They're not going to be able to use this footage. I don't know what they're going to do. And no one said a word to me. And I just walked through the back with my head down, just sad, like thinking I'm never coming back.
So has this kind of become like an urban legend in the industry now? Because I know Cardona and Myers have you on your podcast. You were on Chris Jericho's podcast about it. Like, did that kind of like extra good brother you up with the boys after this?
And Jericho's book. I made it into Jericho's book. He's just fascinated with it. I'm surprised he hasn't got me into AEW for a shot, you know? But no, this is the thing. Vince just stone-faced me there. Like, they wouldn't say a word to me. Like, they were pissed. And then as soon as I left, apparently they laughed their ass off. They all thought it was hilarious. And I guess it got played at their Christmas parties and everything.
No shit.
But it's like, fuck, if it was that funny, let me be the guy that has a wardrobe malfunction every week. I'll be the wardrobe malfunction guy.
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
But I was so ashamed. I never contact them again. It's just like, I got to quit now. I wrestled for maybe a year more. I mean, I cut my hair off shortly after that. My very last match in 2010, I dropped the 3XW championship in Des Moines. So really, when I thought I quit the business, my last match, I dropped the heavyweight championship. I thought, shit, that's a cool way to go out. You know, but yeah, I was so distraught. I didn't contact WWE again, and I quit the business a year later.
So how long did you stay out of the business for before you decided to come back in?
4 years.
No kidding. And what made you come back in? What was it like? Did you quit solely because of that incident on ECW? Were there other reasons behind it?
No, yeah, it was just I quit because I just thought WWE was a dead issue now. It's like, what's the point now? If like at that point in my mind, I was like, if I can't be WWE, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do it just to do it. And nowadays, I do it just to do it because I love to do it. I love being in that spotlight. I love that creative freedom that I have. But back then, yeah, I was like, I'm done. What's the point? I don't want to wrestle in front of 100 fans here in Des Moines that just care about work rate and tell me I suck and everything else. I'm like, what do I need this abuse for? Fuck it. And then I kind of watched wrestling yet, and then I happened to go to one of 3XW shows, and Adam Pearce was a traveling NWA champion at the time, and he wrestled one of the best Iowa guys. He's from Missouri, the Rebel Jeremy White. He's called the Monarch. He's around now a little bit. He's doing a really good job. And they had such a great match. I'm thinking, God damn it, I got to get back. I miss the crowds. You know, I miss performing. And that same year, I guess it was the anniversary, or I don't know what it was, but Zack Ryder was on Talk is Jericho. And oh my God, they made me feel so bad. I just felt like a pile of shit. They were just laughing and joking. But anyway, I'm listening. I was a huge Jericho fan. I got all his books, and I hated Jericho for a little bit because they're pretty much just laughing at me. I'm this sorry ass jabroni that didn't know to have underwear under his trunks, and this idiot's blaming me for pulling on his trunks too hard. Like I'm a buffoon because how dare I question a WWE talent about pulling my trunks too hard? And it made me really, really sad. I mean, it was another depression with that. And then out of nowhere, I see Fozzie's going to be performing in Des Moines. And I just like, you know what? I learned at this point, it's like, what do I have to lose? What's the worst they can say is no. So I tweeted the Talk is Jericho podcast. I said, excuse me, Chris, can I tell my side of the story? You just recently interviewed Zack Ryder. And I'm getting a fucking tweet back from one of my heroes, Chris Jericho. Yeah, man. When the date gets closer, contact me. So the day of the show, I'm being interviewed by goddamn Chris Jericho on his tour bus for his podcast.
That's cool.
And all because I asked. If I wouldn't have asked, it never would have happened. And the great thing about that was I got interviewed by Chris Jericho. He took a selfie with me, and I was like, I don't like selfies. You think I could get a normal picture with you? And Chris was nice enough to get off the bus, go into the bar, and get someone to take a photo of me and him, because I didn't know if I'd ever see Chris again. And he had to sign like 20 autographs because he had to go inside there. And he did that for me, and he made sure I had the perfect picture with him. And I'll send you that one too, just so you have that.
No, absolutely, yeah.
Because it all makes sense, because I have a picture with Chris Jericho and Eddie Guerrero in 1997, the night before NWO sold out in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. The very first show was sold out in Cedar Rapids. And I got a picture with them the night before.
Wow, that's cool.
But yeah, it's like that's how that all came about. Chris Jericho was intrigued by the whole Exploding Trunks, and I made it into his book, and I got interviewed on his show. So
there you go.
I'll always have that.
Let's keep talking about guys that you've had interactions with. Tyler and I are two Canadian boys who love their drinking. Okay, and we know we've heard you talking on Talking Shop. You like a couple cold ones yourself. Is there anybody that you can talk about that you would call the world champion of putting them down? Who do you like to party with?
Fuck that. You know, I didn't get to really drink with that many legends, so holy shit. I mean, Gallows and Anderson, god damn. When they were still in WWE, they did a show up in Cedar Falls. And they were coming to Cedar Rapids that night and staying over, and then they had the afternoon show in Cedar Rapids. So that was one time they were real good brothers. Carl messaged me and goes, "Hey, where are you at in Cedar Rapids?" And we met up at this little shithole bar that's like a NASCAR themed bar. Four of us. There's four of us. Three of us and maybe one fan. I don't know, but anyway, there's four of us in this bar. The barmaids have no idea who they are. And they kicked us out at 10 o'clock on a Sunday night there.
Oh, they just lost a fortune.
Yeah, they let us drink a few beers and then told us to leave. And it's like, do you even know who these guys are, you dumb bitch? And so we go get a case of Coors Lights. We get a case of Coors Lights, and we just walked back over to the hotel, and we drank beers till 3 a.m, and I had to be at my job at 5:30 in the morning. But I did it because I was like, "Fuck, when am I going to see these guys again?"
No kidding.
And
well, let's talk.
I'd say Gallows and Anderson are pretty hardcore.
Let's talk a little bit about Gallows and Anderson. You know, you've recently made a comeback to a big stage on the Talking Shop of Mania pay-per-views. How much fun are you guys having at Gallows' house filming those things?
Oh my God, that first show was so much more fun than the second. But the second show, I will say though, I got to hang out with Virgil for like an hour. He's like, he reminded me of my crazy Uncle Bear. It's like as soon as I talked to him, we like hit it off, and he just followed me everywhere. And he's like a bit of a close talker on that episode of Seinfeld where Judge Reinhold is the close talker. That was Virgil, but shit, we hit it off. And then what was great is I got a picture with Virgil, and we're both known for having the big cocks now. And I put on Twitter, real recognizes real, just missing Andre, you know? But the second, that was the best, hanging with Virgil, the second one, and getting that photo with Scott Steiner. At the time, I thought I was the only guy that had the balls to ask Scott Steiner for a picture, but I guess a couple other people did later on. But that night, I was like, I got a picture of fucking Scott Steiner. I've been waiting for this photo for 20 years.
How happy are you with your matches on there? Do you think that they're turning out pretty fun? Because to me, I think that you're one of the highlights of the entire pay-per-views, in my opinion.
Well, I wish you would tell Gallows and Anderson that now, because the way they bury me on commentary and make me look like an idiot, it's sometimes I don't know. But the first Talking Shop, though, was so great because this was before we had any restrictions. Gallows had no idea what he was in for with letting all the boys loose on his property.
Oh shit!
But
they messed up the touch pretty good, eh?
Yeah. It was like I passed out on a treadmill the first night. I didn't get a hotel the first show. I just stayed at Gallows' house. I'm out on the patio by the pool with John Schuyler and Alex Kozlov, and we're out there drinking till about 4 a.m. And we called up some chick and sang her that Sean Mulberry song, everything's gonna be all right, rockabye. I guess he got laid out of it when he saw her again. But I passed out on a treadmill. The second night of filming, when we were done, at the end of the night, it was me, Gallows and Anderson, Scott D'Amore, D'Lo Brown, Chavo Guerrero, Johnny Swinger, Heath Slater. And we just got fucked up. And,
that's what it's all.
It was so great.
That's a good throwback to what you hear the old school days.
Yeah, I had to do a little bit of filming, but other than that, it was like all I could drink. And then they brought us wings, they brought us pizza. It's like all I could eat and drink. And then I got to fuck around in the ring for 5 minutes. I took maybe 2 bumps, got a good payday. It was the best.
So are we going to see a Talking Shop Mania 3, do you think?
Well, it sounds like Gallows wants it, but Anderson and Rocky aren't so sure yet. But yeah, I was just on a Patreon yesterday for the Good Brothers. Rocky has brunching with the boys or something, and I was on there. We gave away a couple of these awesome Rapid Delivery Rory Fox t-shirts.
Yeah, those are
and he goes, yeah, maybe we'll do a Talking Shop 2.5 and like not quite the full blown 3. I'm not sure.
Because that one we're finally going to see the much hype and legendary match Fox and Matt Cardona. And I feel like he's ducking you, Rory.
I don't think it's going to happen at Talking Shop. I mean, Matt Cardona, I found out one of the reasons he's ducking Talking Shop is this is one thing I like about Matt. I don't like very much about him, but I do like this. Matt wants Matt Cardona and Rory Fox to be the main event of Talking Shop in a tuxedo match. It's like, you see the way I've been on the show. It's like, I can't go out there for Cardona and do a 2-minute joke match. This is going to be Ted DiBiase versus Buzz Sawyer, Mid-South Wrestling in the cage tuxedo match.
Yeah.
I mean, this is going to be blood and guts. So I think it's going to happen WrestleMania week at a major podcast live show.
That'd be great.
And it actually would have happened in April of this year, but COVID shut her ass down. Cardona had a big building booked for major podcast live, so it's just going to be that much bigger when it actually does happen.
Just take my money now, Rory. I'm there, buddy.
But my plan is, though, I would love not only to have a tuxedo match, but I want to go to that Creative Pro Wrestling up where Brian Myers is, and I want to be that most despicable heel there. Just have a wrestling match against Matt Cardona there, but then he's got to come to Iowa where it's Fox country. We're going to flip the whole thing just like Stone Cold against the Hart Foundation. Now, when Cardona would come to Iowa, he'd be the despicable asshole from New York, and he's surrounded by 600, 700 Rory Fox fans, and we would just reverse the roles, and I just think it would be amazing. And I think he's in for it if we can get it done.
Well, I'm taking this chance right now to reach out to a friend of the show, my personal friend Jan Murphy. He's a big promoter in Kingston, Ontario. He does a huge show every year called Chinlock. Chinlock 6 is coming up. Jan Murphy, book this shit. Get this
Please.
going. We're going to reach out to Jen. We need Rory Fox versus Matt Cordona. That would put, as Tony would say, that would put butts in seats. Let's get that going.
Yeah, wrestling match, cage match, street fight, whichever you want. Maybe we could put the tuxedo back together and do that again. But either way, please let this happen. I've never wrestled Canada my whole career. That'd be another thing on my bucket list.
Oh, we'd love to get you over here, Rory.
Tyler, what do you think, though? I think we got to get Rory in Canada, put him up against Danny Franchise. Our friend Danny Franchise is a local wrestler he's a close friend of mine for the last 25 years. And he's a bit of a legend in this part because his last show, he came out doing his entrance and he accidentally wrapped his arm around the curtain on his entrance and pulled the whole fucking entranceway down.
Yeah. Right in front of Dreamer.
This show is being co-promoted by Tommy Dreamer's House of Hardcore. So Tommy Dreamer's fucking hot. This is a joke for the rest of our life. So I said the last person we need to put in the ring with Rory is Danny because he'll probably wrap Rory's trunks around his fucking arm and pull them down too.
Oh yeah, I wear underwear under my trunks now.
So,
but no, the other thing though, I do know one Canadian though. I met him at Steel Domain Wrestling in Minneapolis, in St. Paul. Danny Duggan. So I know one Canadian. I know Danny Duggan. Good dude. I wrestled him one match in Steel Domain Wrestling, and we had a blast, man. I was the super white meat baby face, and he's the dickhead heel from Canada, and he's coming out to Cruel Summer by Bananarama, and it's like, God damn. It was so good. He was such a pleasure to wrestle.
I'll tell you what, Roy, if we can ever get you over to the Toronto side, I got a treadmill with your name on it, buddy.
Yes.
So I got another question I want to ask you here, and then I want to get into a little bit of word association with you. But how's things changed for you ever since Talking Shop-A-Mania? Because to me, I just think the legend of Rory Fox is growing and growing more and more every week.
Well, I know my Twitter followers have gone way up. So pretty much now it's like everyone knows me now from like Talking Shop and the major podcasts. But it's like as I get these new fans, it's like hopefully they can Google me now on YouTube and see what I was before. It's like I'm not just this total joke. I mean, I did have the MTV thing, the newspaper boy, but there's a lot of credible matches out there on YouTube now that you can see. I wish my catalog from Texas you could see. I did 3 years in Texas too. I was in Texas from 2007 to 2009. I had matches with Frankie Kazarian, Eric Young, LAX, and they're not on video. It's like, what the fuck? They're somewhere, but they're not able to be viewed. And I had fans spitting on me, throwing drinks on me. One match, Hernandez gave me that border toss, and he dropped me on my freaking neck, and I'm thinking, shit. If he's gonna hurt me like that, I'm not even gonna move. I'm gonna lay there. I did not move after he pinned me. I stayed there for a good 5 minutes until my tag partner, main event Mike Fox, picked me up off the mat and helped me all the way to the back. And I had cups of ice and beer and everything thrown on me. They didn't even care about my well-being. It was like, Jesus. I almost got killed, and they still hated me. It's like, God damn it. That's like, I couldn't ask for a better applause than that.
Well, you mentioned the name Hernandez. He was actually the first name that I had on my word association with you, Rory.
Yeah. Oh.
So, Mike, maybe you'll throw to another name then.
No, you can do Hernandez.
Yeah, all right. Let's start off. We'll start the word association off here. Let's start off with Hernandez.
Big scary dude. If he likes you, he likes you. But if he doesn't like you, he does not care about your well-being in the ring. And he did like me at one time, but when I refused to no-show a show and do his show, he didn't like me anymore.
Oh, really? Did he like at least come up to you and apologize after he dumped you on your head?
No, he never checked on me or anything. Even with my ice pack on my neck and everything, he did not care.
Jeez.
Because he was the star, the rest of us were just irrelevant. It didn't matter.
Ah, that's terrible.
He may have changed now, and that's my thing I'm worried about. It's like, say I get now Scott D'Amore likes me. What if I get booked at Impact and I see Hernandez there? It's like, is Hernandez going to do business, or is he going to try to fight me for something from 10 years ago? It's like, I don't know, but that would be weird. I think he's probably matured, and now he's just lucky to have a job there now. And it's like, I think who knows? But anyway, at that point, he was very reckless.
Well, and with these word associations too, Roy, feel free to tell stories, do whatever. It doesn't have to just be short. You can go out whatever comes to your mind on these guys. Mike, you want to throw the next one?
A man who you mentioned earlier in the show, I think you said he produced your match with Umaga. I want to know about Dusty Rhodes.
Oh, Dusty Rhodes, baby. Yeah, he goes, now, Rory, you in a match with Umaga. He's big, nasty Samoan. Now you're not scared, but you're concerned, I don't want you to be scared. I just want you to be really concerned. You got this big Samoan, baby. Like that was my Dusty.
That's so great. Love that.
Yeah. Let's go with Virgil next.
Fucking Virgil. He like I said, he was like an uncle to me, man. Other guys got annoyed with him. I'd never met Virgil before, so all these stories were new to me. And some of the stories he repeated a couple or 2 or 3 times. I didn't care. It's like, I watched this guy in 1987 managing Ted DiBiase and holding the $1 million title and being in Andre's corner, the Mega Bucks versus Mega Power. So I loved every single minute with Virgil, and he was very gracious to me, and he took the time to get a photo, because I've heard other things like he'll charge wrestlers for photos and shit. Nothing like that. Virgil was so nice to me, and I don't care if he repeats stories, because I got uncles that repeat stories, so fuck it.
I'll send you this, Roy, since you're going to be so kind to send us a couple photos. I have the greatest personal video shout out that Virgil has ever sent. I'm gonna send it to you off air, Roy. Virgil's a beauty. He's 2 thumbs up in my book as well.
Oh, speaking of that, did you? One of my best friends, as a rib, he got me a birthday cameo from Buff Bagwell. If you haven't seen that, I'll send it to you.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And that's the thing. People, I posted on Twitter. I know some people with shit talk. It's like, fuck you assholes. It's fucking Buff Bagwell. God damn it. He gave me a nice happy birthday greeting, and people can talk shit all they want.
No,
it was only $50, and he did a real nice greeting.
Roy, you got to get on the cameo too, man. I think people. I've
applied. I'm just waiting to hear back.
Awesome.
That's great.
Mike, you got another name you want to throw, Roy?
Yeah, your twin brother, Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, Mini Brock.
Well, did you get to meet? Do you have any stories about Brock? Did you get to meet Brock?
No, all I said was hello to him. That was about it. But yeah, that was my thing. I thought, okay, maybe I could be Brock Lesnar's little brother and then wrestle like Brock in the cruiserweight division. And nothing came out of that.
That sounds like good booking to me, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw a name at you here, Rory. How about your tag team partner, Rim Job?
Oh my God, dude. That was so fucking embarrassing, but God bless Rim Job. I mean, luckily though, he got to wear a mask, so you don't know who it is. But yeah, he did a good job. He did his part, but he probably should have wiped his ass though, because they said there was a brown stain in the ring.
Yeah,
but he's a good dude. He's a good dude, and I didn't have a car there to go back into town to get beer, and Rim Job had plenty of beer for me. So Rim Job's a good dude.
Good brother, eh?
Next name, Hornswoggle.
I don't know, man. It's kind of weird. He has a promotion in Wisconsin. He's brought in Brian Myers twice, and he doesn't think, let's put Rory Fox versus Brian Myers. It's like, I'm 5 hours from there. I would have drove there and did the match. So it's like, it's weird. It's like Hornswoggle's nice to my face, but behind my back, I don't know if he thinks I suck or what, but I've never been booked on his shows in Wisconsin, and I just don't understand it. It's like, I told him I'm interested. I don't know, do you have to kiss the ring or what you have to do to get booked there? But it's like, you bring in Brian Myers, and he's the best friend of Zack Ryder. Why would you not put Rory Fox and Brian Myers together?
Makes sense.
So
you guys are a pay-per-view match.
Hornswoggle's nice in my face, but he could be a dickhead.
Fair. How about let's go with Brian Myers then, since we were just talking about him.
He's another one. I mean, he's kind of a cool dude, but at the same time, I don't know sometimes. It's like he tells Gallows and Anderson I suck, but he's nice to me. So it's like, are we blurring the lines or what? I don't know. He's a cool dude to me, but it's not like we hung around each other at Talking Shop. So I don't know.
Well,
possible good brother.
Possible good brother. Mike, you got any more you want to throw out there?
I want you to finish it up. I know you have a couple more.
I'm gonna go with the last two then, and we just again you mentioned the name. We got to go Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson.
Carl Anderson's a real good brother. I mean, he hasn't forgotten that we were friends 20 years ago when I was the MTV guy, and he was just in training, and he welcomed me back into the fold. I got to do his Talking Shop show, the podcast, and that led to me getting a shot on their pay-per-view. So, and Carlos texts me, goes, "You're booked as long as we keep doing this stuff," because I had thanked him for letting me be a part of this. So, yeah, Carl's a great dude. Chad's a great guy. Gallows, he's a good guy too, but at the same time, he has no problem burying me. So I don't know. I don't know. They call it ribbing on the square, where it's like, oh, hey, brother, it's just, I'm just working. But, I don't know sometimes. But I'll say they're good brothers because they booked me on 2 shows. Now, I'll say Gallows is a really good brother if I get to be a part of the next Talking Shop Impact special, where I get to be on TV acting like a drunken idiot.
There you go.
Because that's airfare, hotel, and a payday on Impact.
There you go. Book Rory. Let's get him on that for sure.
I would like to wrestle, but hey, they'd be really good brothers if I could wrestle the most professional wrestler, Brian Myers, on Impact. I think that would be great.
See, and I think that there's a draw for that, man. I think you've got enough of a name and enough of a hype going about you right now, Rory. Why wouldn't Impact do something like that, right?
I don't know. Maybe because I don't look like an Abercrombie and Fitch model. I don't know. I'm a chest and shoulders guy. I don't quite have the abs, but I'm working on it. Corey G Fitness. I'm working on it.
So I don't know, man. I'm looking at you, Rory, and I'm thinking they went the wrong way with John Cena for that Duke Nukem movie. I'm thinking you should get your name in there for the auditions.
Yeah.
So, Roy,
anyway, Scott D'Amore was very friendly to me at Talking Shop Mania 2, but it's like Chad said, Carl said, you're a star, but you're our star. So I don't know. I would like to get an Impact one time just to be there, but
of course.
Did you ever do any work with any of the other promotions, like Ring of Honor at all, or?
No, I never got into Ring of Honor either because I felt like I'm more of honky tonk man, Ring of Honor wanted Nigel McGuinness and the Matt Striker we had. They're real technical wizards, and it's like that's not my thing. And I don't want to do German suplexes on my head. And
yeah,
I want to entertain you and tell a story. I don't want to kill myself out there for you. And so Ring of Honor never called me, and I never called them.
Honky tonk man.
I wanted to get into TNA wrestling back in the day, and because I had a gimmick where I was a former child actor turned pro wrestler. I studied all the greats of professional wrestling, and now I'm up for the biggest part of my life, which at the time I put Intercontinental Champion, but then I changed it for something for Impact Wrestling, and I sent it to Terry Taylor, and I just never heard anything back. But I had one of the little Hollywood chairs. I would take a powder, sit in the chair, and I'd have a flunky give me a Evian water. I'd drink the water, and I'd say, "Take 2," and I dive right back in the ring and get bopped around again. And then one day I saw the Miz. I saw the Miz sitting in my chair, and I'm like, "Motherfucker!"
He's gonna get it, Roy. The day he released.
Oh! Before you go, I didn't tell you that. The time I was at ECW in Houston, I wrestled Stevie Richards. During the day, I saw Michael Hayes and I pitched my idea of a former child actor turned wrestler. And he was all into it, listening to it, until that Taryn Terrell chick, the commissioner of ECW, interrupted and took him away. And that was it.
So, Rory, just in the off chance that Matt Cardona is listening to this, what would you like to say to him? What do you want him to know? Because I think the people are ready to see this tuxedo match.
Matt Cardona, you challenged me at Talking Shop Mania 2. Be careful what you wish for. 2021, this tuxedo match is going to happen. And you can joke about me not being able to afford Wi-Fi. I have to go to the library and all this other bullshit. When it comes down to it, the tuxedo match is going to happen in front of all your fans. They can have their big laughs. But I'm going to beat respect into you. This tuxedo match, it's not going to be Harvey Whippleman versus Howard Finkel. This is going to be Buzz Sawyer and Ted DiBiase. It's going to be blood and guts. And when I rip off all your clothes and down to your underwear, you're going to feel the shame and the humiliation I felt for 11 years. And you will respect me when the night's over.
I'll tell you what, I don't want to be Matt Cardona right now. And I think maybe he's ducking you because he's seen you on Talking Shop Mania 2, and he doesn't want to get the chance to be exposed beside you, Rory.
Yeah, COVID's been buying him time.
That's it. Well, time's running out, Matt Cardona. The clock is ticking, and Rory Fox is coming for you, buddy. So,
Matt Cardona always says he's always ready. You better be, because Rory Fox is always angry, and I'm coming for your ass in 21.
Oh, I can't wait. Take my money now, everybody. Rory, I can't thank you enough for doing this today. Before we let you go, please plug your social media, plug where we can buy a T-shirt, anything we can do to get Rory booked or help you out. Please plug it all.
Yes. Collar and Elbow. You can buy the first original Collar and Elbow T-shirt. Rapid delivery, Rory Fox, delivering the goods since 1999. Go to Collar and Elbow. Put in promo code Rory Fox 11 and save 10%. Or you can go to prowrestlingtees.com/Rory Fox 11, and I have T-shirts there as well. I have 8x10s that you can get on my Twitter at Rory Fox _. I'm also on Instagram, Rory Fox 11, and I'm also on Facebook at Rory Fox. So get in contact with me. When the world opens up again, I'm ready to come to Canada. I want to come to Toronto. Toronto is one of the best wrestling cities in the world, and I've never been there. That'd be one place I want to go.
I told you, Roy, if we get you to Toronto, I got a treadmill with your name on it, buddy. It's going to be comfortable, more comfortable than Gallus is. We're going to get you whooping Danny Franchise's ass down here. We're going to make it happen when the world opens up, buddy. I cannot thank you enough for joining us. This has been a pleasure. You've been awesome, Roy. Anything you want to say before we take it home?
Let me tell Danny Franchise. Danny Franchise, bring me to Toronto and I'll make your ass famous.
Oh shit! Let's go, Rory Fox versus Danny Franchise 2021. We're gonna make it happen somehow, Rory. I cannot thank you enough for joining us, buddy. You are the goodest of the brothers out there. Check him out on Twitter. Hit us with the Twitter one more time.
Rory Fox _ on Twitter.
Perfect. So on behalf of myself, on behalf of Mike, and on behalf of the good brother Rory Fox, rapid delivery Rory Fox, you have been counted out, everybody. Cheers.
Thank you.
Just absolutely unbelievable stuff there. Mike, how awesome is Rory Fox?
I'm blown away, man. I am blown away. I can't believe how good that was. When you were trying to sell me on this interview, you were so excited, and that's the only reason I got so involved. I said, okay, I'm going to jump on this for Tyler. I wasn't doing it for me. I wasn't doing it for the show even, because I couldn't buy into Rory Fox. I don't know anything about him, but you were so fucking excited that I said, okay, let's give this a shot. I'm so happy we did this interview, because Rory Fox, you said this off air to me. Rory Fox is our new best friend.
I love Rory Fox. He's a good brother. I said that many times in the interview. I love to get him to Toronto and just have some beers with him and shoot the shit. Great stories he told. Great insight. Check out all the stuff like he plugged. Give him some love.
Can I tell you something too? And by the time this show is on, it'll be on our Facebook. You'll be able to see it. But a lot of wrestlers, I'm not going to call any names, I'm not going to name any names, but a lot of wrestlers we've talked to, both recorded on the show and outside of the show, they always tell you, yeah, man, I'm going to push you, I'm going to get you over, I'm going to do this for you, I'm going to retweet you, I'm going to do this. And a lot of times, I'm going to say 75% of the time, it doesn't happen, okay? However, in the 10 minutes that it's been since we got off the line with fucking Rory, I have received 7 pictures on my phone that Rory said during the show he would send us. Like, the man is a man of his word. I have a feeling that he's going to put us over. We're going to put him over. He's going to be a big friend of the podcast for a long time. I really feel like that. He is going to be, jumping in with the ranks of Jonah and Mad Dog Connor and Jason Sensation.
Absolutely.
All these guys who have been really good to the show. Rory Fox, we're there for you. Thank you so much for the interview. It was such a fucking ride. Such a great show.
Yeah, absolutely. We had a blast. We laughed the whole time, as you heard. Speaking of good times, though, Mike, we got some good times coming up in the next couple of weeks, man.
Wow, man, this was supposed to be a one-off show, but I think it's going to be the rest of our year.
Absolutely. We're going to bring it home. We're going to be talking about the year 2020 for the next 2 weeks, 2-part episode coming up. Mike, what are we doing?
We are rounding up the year 2020. We are doing our top 7 moments of 2020. Now, here's the cool thing about this, though. This is Tyler's list. All right? Tyler made this list. But Tyler realizes that we did not make this show on our own. We had a lot of help. We had celebrity guests. We had the most loyal listeners you could fucking ask for. So what we did was we brought them all in. Some of our favorite guests, some of our favorite listeners, they're all coming on to help us with each of the 7 items on the list. And that's how we're going to do it. Each 7 moments, the top 7 moments that Tyler chose for the year 2020, we're going to have somebody jump on with Tyler and I to talk about those moments and how impactful they were to the year 2020.
Absolutely. And just some of the names that you guys are going to hear from. We're going to hear from friend of the show, Adam Content. We're going to hear from good friends and better enemies, Jay and Tyrone. We've got Mad Dog Connor coming back on. We're going to hear from Just Incredible, just to name a few of the surprises that we have. I'm not going to give them all away. Don't want to give them all away.
Yeah, keep a little kayfabe there, brother.
Little kayfabe. So next week is going to be part 1 of our 2-part best of 2020 moments in the year of professional wrestling. Do you want to take us home, Mike?
I also like to say I think I've decided we're going to ban Danny Franchise from the show. He's not allowed. If you end up hearing Danny Franchise on either week of the year-end show, you can kick me in the nuts.
Oh, I might just bring him on just for a nut shot on you.
With that said, once again, on behalf of Tyler, myself, and the one and only, and I can't say that enough, there's only one rapid delivery, Rory Fox. We have been counted out.
Cheers.